Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another Community Connection with Ryan Sauers. Happy New Year, and super excited to have my friend and colleague, Carol Wood. She's the owner and founder of Total Learning Concepts with me on the show today. Carol, how are you?
Good, good. Thank you. You?
I'm doing well. I'm excited for a 2021. This is our first show of 2021, and I think probably you agree. It's time to turn the page, right?
Absolutely. Very
Well,
much so.
yes. Well, I know so many people know you, but as this show, people that get to watch it as a video show later, they get to watch it as a podcast through any platform. So we'll have people, in the local area, but people from all over being able to tap into your business experience and your teaching and education. And you have I know a ton you can share with us, but let's just start. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, what you do for our listeners and our audience.
All right. Well, I'm a local girl. I was raised in College Park, Georgia, went to Lakeshore High School, went to Georgia Tech after that, taught high school math in the public school system. And then after that, I went to work as a corporate trainer in Bell South. It was actually called Southern Bell at the time. I'll date myself. And That was when AT&T divested itself. And now I've worked and lived long enough to see them go back and get out of divestiture. But started tutoring in my house when my daughter was a baby, and moved Total Learning Concepts into a professional environment in 1990. Started up in 86. So we're in 2021.
Congratulations.
Got my Social Security statement not long ago, and I had contributed to Social Security for 45 years.
Well, hey, I just want to take a second and say congratulations. I was telling you what I'm planning to study for my dissertation, and most businesses don't make it past 50%. Don't make it past 5 years, so that's phenomenal. Congratulations.
Yeah, well, thank you.
You're doing something right.
Great staff. I have an incredible staff of people with me. So
you have a great
always
team.
Have had.
Yeah, you do. You have an amazing team. Well, I guess we'd be remiss to not just jump into a thing right now. You're over tutoring and one of the best I've seen at teaching students and educating and loving on students and with your great staff. But we've also had now going into a new year, almost 12 months of learning in a new way and virtual learning. And just what has that been like? What experiences have you had or your staff had or what you've seen with kids and et cetera? I mean, changes, people's feelings, whatever you can share.
Well, I'm going to relate it to 9/11 because on March 15th, 16th, it's like everything shifted. And it's a day you don't forget if you're an educator and or a student. So, for us here at the center, the first thing was these kids are still in school. They're going to school in a different environment, different venue, in a virtual environment. And what do we need to do immediately to make sure we're there for them? Because we knew that going from an in-person school setting to at home behind a computer screen, that would change everything for them. And they had come to rely on us for support. Each week, Sunday through Thursdays were open, and they come to us for all kinds of assistance with their academics. So we knew we needed to do something fast to make sure we were there. So I pulled my team together and said, okay, ladies and gentlemen, what do we do? And we immediately went into action and switched everything virtual. And literally within 2 days, and it's because of this, truthfully, it was a core of 3 different teachers who immediately went into action. They're younger than me, so their technology skills are better than mine are. And we were up online within 2 days. We had students already virtually online with us in tutorial and test prep sessions. Within a week, I had 3 teachers up and running. And at this time, they were all in their houses. I was here at the center by myself, and they were at home. And within about 2 weeks, it was amazing how many students had already come back in virtual learning. So, basically what we did is put our heads together. We had to be flexible, adaptable. We had to think outside the box, and we had to put our students before anything else. Had to put them first.
Carolyn, what I hear you saying, because you let a lot of business owners, the people probably want to tap into you or ask you experience or potentially virtually, have their kid, work with your center, whether they're local or wherever. But, you and I have talked a lot about business over the years. Was it almost like a startup business again? I'm having to rethink everything.
It's funny you said that. Initially, it was kind of almost just a shock. It was just the adjustment of, okay, but yes, I guess to your answer to your question, yes, because all the processes changed from, the teachers working in their house, which means all the session documentation, because at that time it's all on paper. So we have all that in the center. So I'm juggling all of that. But as time progressed, what I found myself, because business numbers just went down like every business, our enrollment took a massive nosedive. And so I found myself doing all the same things that I did in 1990 when I first went commercial and moved out of my living room, so to speak. Literally, I did move. I moved away from my kitchen table and went to this commercial environment and, signed a lease and, had rent to pay and set all the expenses that business owners know about. I had to go back to revisit how to not just recruit new students and promote what we do and let the community know who we are. We're here. This is what we do. But also how to market again. So I found myself feeling like, and I said to people that knew me well and closest to me, I said, I feel like it's 1990 all over again. Except for the big difference was I wasn't 32 anymore. I was 63. And there's a huge difference between 32 and 63 from an energy level,
Yep.
But what maybe was shocking, maybe a nice surprise was how fast we adapted. And also to see that even, an older person I am now, I guess I'm almost considered a senior citizen.
No, come on. No.
It's like, okay, we can still do this. We can still think outside the box. It helps to work with young people. I have staff members to my age and younger, and I have students that are as young as, kindergarten, preschool, whatever, 4-year-old pre-K. So it kind of helps to work with a lot of young people, and they keep me on my toes. So.
Well, it's funny you say that because I think you're right. I mean, I did one of my in-show Marketing Matters shows. We go into studio and it's a radio show, becomes a podcast. I launched this show about a week after what you were talking about in March. And I'm sitting here recording this almost in mid-January and I'm going, does it feel to you like this has been a lifetime and yet it's been almost a year? It's crazy. But how much have we all learned? And you're in the learning business. I hope, would you say to those people out there, it's been tough times, but hopefully you've learned and grown in your business and, that you can apply going forward?
Yeah. What have I learned? Boy, wow. A lot. I guess the main thing I've learned though would be, again, being flexible and being adaptable and looking at the cup half full. What can we make good from this? We found that virtual learning in a tutorial test prep environment works. We found ways to make that work, but a lot of things we already knew. I mean, I don't mean to sound arrogant, but there are a lot of things we already knew. For example, protocol in place for health and well-being. We already knew that. When I built this facility in 2000, I equipped it with UV lights and HEPA filtration. We were already disinfecting all the time anyway. So there were some things that we had already been doing. So that wasn't new for us. It was protocol for us. So that was good. We were ahead there and I didn't have to revamp my whole building.
Yeah.
We've become closer as a team, staff. And even though business has been, my enrollment's still not where it was, but I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on making sure that every student we work with we're meeting their needs and we're helping them, achieve their goals and potential. So, if I were to give any advice to any business person, which they already probably know this, but it would be stay true to who you are as a service and the products or services you produce or provide, which is taking care of your customers first and your staff. Your staff and your clients and customers, whichever it may be, has to come before yourself. And my business philosophy has always been, don't focus on numbers as far as money. It's not important. You focus on who you are, what you do as a company. And if you focus on that, the rest will take care of itself. You just don't have to worry about that. And know me long enough to know that I may have said this to you before, but if I were to ask what's a plan for business success, it would be a very short book. It might only be a one pager, because I would say those things. You focus on what you provide, goods or services, customer first, got to take care of your staff, and the rest will happen. And you just can't. And if it doesn't, then maybe that's not the line of work you're supposed to be in.
Right.
Maybe
And
you picked the wrong thing. Maybe you need to be doing something different. So
well, Carolyn, I know you and I have known each other a long time, and you live that. I mean, I know that. I'll tell our audience. I mean, a lot of people, been on different shows, and they'll tell me, focus on. I mean, they're telling me off the air about their profits and where they're at, but the bottom line is, we're all in business. If you're in a for-profit business, but with the things I do, if you just, I agree with you. If you focus on just excelling and doing the absolute above and beyond best, taking care of the people around you, paying it forward, doing what's right, I agree with you. I mean, people see that, and like you said, if it doesn't work out, then you've left it all in the field and done it the right way.
Yeah, I think, a challenge to me, professionally and personally with the pandemic has been balancing the needs of family, staff, clients, and just, trying to make sure everybody's okay, because at my age, you have elder parents, and you have, my kid, my daughter, she's older, I have a granddaughter. So it's, making sure that, my mom's okay, and making sure that I'm giving enough time to my granddaughter, my daughter, and my husband. And then I've got to split between my staff who, it's important that I'm there for them. So, small business owners understand what I'm saying perfectly. And it's just trying to balance all that out. But at the same time, while you're doing all that, you have real things that occur, which is there are bills to pay. There are expenses of business, and making sure, okay, how do I make sure we have enough business coming in this pandemic, which impacts all of our businesses, and making sure that we can keep our staff, and keep everyone employed, and and pay our bills. And honestly, my goal has been, quality of service, of course, first, foremost, staff well-being, whatnot. But it's been, if we can just be in the black,
right?
We're not asking for much. Let's just make sure we can pay our bills, and and that's all. That's the most I ask for at this point. And I think things will return to normal. I think there'll be a new normal for us. Virtual learning will stay as a permanent part of our services, so that's a plus.
Yeah. Well, Carol, you're spot on. And, and I launched this show, what I said a minute ago, 10 months ago, because I was like, okay, we had all been said, go home, quarantine, just, or not, don't be around people in March. When it all started, we were figuring this stuff out. And I said, well, we can use, like, I'd never used personally, even I'd use a lot of Skype and stuff like you and I were talking, but I never used Zoom. And now, too bad I didn't buy stock in Zoom a few years ago or something. But in all seriousness, I was like, how can we do it? We can interview people, talk about what they're going on. What are they doing? How are they pivoting in their business? And that, I said, this became a lasting thing that will last after the pandemic. And I've recently thought, well, heck, after things get better, it may be I'm coming out to interview somebody and it's with our phones, and then we splice it together and create a show, and we go on, so it can always evolve. But I kind of agree with you. It's like, your virtual learning now is will be a piece, obviously, of what you do. And that'll only make you stronger, I would think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It'll stay a permanent part. We really haven't focused on, even though we have virtual services now, we've not focused on trying to expand our students in, other states or other cities. But we're just focused on who we have here, this community, these schools, private, public, the community in which we serve. And we're a small private business. We're not a big old franchise, and that's part of being small in community. And I do think that as a result of the pandemic, something positive has happened is I think the relationships are better. I know my clients better now than I did before. We've had time to talk. There's time to say, how is your family? I've had, instead of a quick phone call of 5 minutes on a rescheduling of a session, we've talked about families and, things that are going on in their families. We've got prayer lists going. I mean, just a lot of things. So there's some good things that have come of it. And you know, from a, I guess, a business perspective, if a young new business person came and asked me, you know, again, just any suggestions, it would be what I've already said. You know, just focus on your clients and your staff and making sure you provide that great service, and be willing to be adaptable and flexible, and you know, and go from there. So.
And Carol, you know, you're going back to your 1990 analogy. I think I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but you also have to be, as a business owner, you have to be willing to almost do any, or you have to be willing to do any job, right? I mean, you know, so you can't say, well, I'm the owner, so I'm not. That's how I know how I operate. I mean, there's things that's minutia that I hate, but I still have to do them, and I'm sure you feel the same way, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Yeah. Yes, I worked in the office alone for about 2 to 3 weeks. And, you know, that's the 1990 part, answering the phones, cleaning the building, setting up the students' individualized programs, scheduling of students, sending out the invoices, doing the banking, doing, I mean, everything, but no complaints, because in a way it just kind of brings it all back home, and it makes you reflect on, so this is why any of us chose what we do in our professions. And most of us chose our professions, small business owners, because we were passionate about whatever that is. And so we've revisited why we did what we did, and it confirms it was a good decision. It's a good career, and it was a good, you know, good career move. And, you know, and hopefully our students will all benefit from it, and we hope so, and they seem to be. So
they do. Well, you know, and you said something, so I want to make sure I say it on air. You know, Total Learning Concepts, right in Lilburn, Georgia, and we're talking to Carol Wood, the owner and founder, but not a franchise, and one of the best in the business at giving back, and truly, I mean, excellent stuff of learning. So, you know, there's a lot of things out there, a lot of franchises out there, but you don't get the hey, you know, that's why, I mean, the community connections. I mean, you're tied to this community, and you do what you say. Your team does what it says it's going to do, and that's very important. And we'll have links to your website. But look, while I got you on there, what is the, I don't have it in front of me, what is the best way, your phone number or website, if people want to connect with you?
Good question. Well, really any, you know, my website is very easy. It's totallearningconcepts.com.
Yeah.
And if you go to the website, you can find, you know, my email address, phone number, all of that's there. There are a couple of videos up there too. They're a little bit older, but they take students and parents who are inquiring or visiting the site. They can view the videos, just take a tour of the center, and then there's an informational video about just everything we do here. And our website, we just got updated it right about the time the pandemic hit. We were overhauling our website, so it's up and running, and you know, so we've got a new site, so it's all up to date. So that was exciting. So
good. And well, we'll be getting you links to this show, whatever. A lot of people take chance to, you know, embed it. That's beyond my website abilities, but however those website guys do it, they can share it through social media, these interviews and so forth. One question. So one so fun question, which is something you positive you've secretly loved about this time. I mean, you know, I wrote in my column on the magazine the other day, it's like, everybody said goodbye 2020, but there have to be a few things we say, you know, God's put us in this place that we enjoyed about this pandemic, or the down, whatever you want to say.
Well, yeah, sure. Well, the word love might be strong. I don't know if I could say love.
Yeah, how about you secretly enjoyed?
Yeah, secretly enjoyed. I will say that the first 2 to 3 weeks when I was in the office alone, I had, you know, we stayed so busy for so many years, and it was like, oh my gosh, it's quiet. And so it was almost a respite that I needed, a little bit of a, you know, woe it back a little bit, and be in the office and reflect and have a little time to just think and all that. So, but after that passed, it has really been talking to those clients, being here in the mornings. You know, my staff comes in now. We changed our hours a little bit. So I'm here in the mornings a lot, you know, by myself. And so I get to answer the phones when clients call, and getting to talk to them has really enjoyed that. And we've had lots of giggles. I mean, we had a lot of fun talking, and, you know, and I can tell if a client calls in and I, you know, ask them how their day is. And sometimes they tell me a lot. And, you know, so that's been, it's almost been an opportunity to I don't want to say minister to them, but in a way to be there for
Yeah.
them. Let's put it that way, to be there for them and to listen. And, being a little bit older now and experienced in life and learning and business and all of that, there's a well to draw from, that I can share things with them that I hope are helpful. And, but had a lot of laughs and some tears. So that's been good. That's been good. It's drawn us closer.
Well, and I appreciate you sharing that. I feel the same way. And it's important because I get asked all the time, like, well, why, you put the stuff out there and obviously you don't have any problems. I'm like, everybody deals with emotions in different ways at different times. There's no right way, but the things you said like that, I've always been a believer of answering my phone and whatever, but like you, Carol, people want to, I would use the word, almost ministering, caring about them, showing that you care a lot more than business. And people just need to get stuff off their chest. And I found during this time, so it's made me feel that makes me feel good when I feel like I can help somebody. And I know that's what you're saying too.
Yeah, and I was thinking one other thing is it's also given me time to reflect on all the people I've worked with over the years. Some of them, particularly directors. I've had so many directors over 35 years, and just being able to reflect and be grateful for those different people who've worked here with me at Total Learning Concepts. They don't work here now, but they have in the past, and so that's been really good. To think back on some of those folks and being very grateful for the time they spent here, because they're part of who we are then, or were then, and who we are now, and really who will be in the future. So,
well, Carol, I just tell you, I applaud our friendship. I applaud, your business and your team, Total Learning Concepts in Lilburn. What you stand for, what you see is what you get. You get my highest endorsement, and I really appreciate, y'all being such a community connected business. Like you said, focusing more on local, so important. And I appreciate you taking time to come on the show today.
Well, thank you for having me, and I appreciate you and your technology. You're keeping us all on our toes. That's good.
Well, I'm working on it. If I can master all the bells and whistles and buttons, I got some of it. But each day's a learning experience, and you're the ultimate educator. So I try to learn each day.
Well, you're inspiring me to. Maybe I'll have to do my own podcast in the future with some people.
Well, we'll get together. We'll get together beyond the screen soon, and I'll try to show you some of my insights. But again, totallearningconcepts.com. Carol Wood, our guest today, owner, founder, top facility. Make sure you go visit them. And Carol, again, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. Okay. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, folks. You've been listening to another Community Connections with Ryan Sauers. Special guest Carol Wood. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time.